talked about how last year the focus really was North Korea. Are there any parallels with what's happening now with Iran?
Well, let's have a little reminder about what Trump said last year. He was addressing his first UN General Assembly, and he launched this kind of bellicose blast against a list of rogue regimes. Now, top of the list was North Korea. The context was escalating tensions, if you remember, and in particular, Pyongyang had launched a series of missile tests in defiance of UN resolutions. Now, Donald Trump replied by threatening to totally destroy North Korea. He referred to Kim Jong-un as Rocket Man, of course, on a suicide mission. Now, fast forward 12 months, and the US president is talking of a possible second summit with the North Korean leader following the one in Singapore. Just yesterday, he said that the relationship is very good and in some ways extraordinary. Now, there are lots of questions about the detail, how committed is North Korea to denuclearization, etc. But tensions have been diffused, and also relations between North and South have thawed to some extent. Now, Iran, second on the list last year of rogue regimes, is likely to be top of the list today. Donald Trump, of course, has pulled out of what he called the very terrible nuclear deal. The US has begun renewing sanctions, and now the next batch is due to come into force, including on oil, in November. President Rouhani, as we've heard, says the comparison with North Korea is not valid. He's warning that preventing Iran from exporting oil will be very dangerous, and says that economic pressure alone will not force Tehran to the negotiating table. He'll only talk if the Trump administration stops its threatening behavior, but crucially, they haven't ruled out talks completely.
Meanwhile, of course, there's the EU, with EU officials, including, of course, Francisca Mogherini, saying that the deal can be salvaged. Where does the EU fit in all this?
The EU is caught in the middle with all this, desperately trying to save the nuclear deal and keep Western firms active in Iran. It's responded in the summer by reviving its blocking statute, which in theory bans companies from complying with the US sanctions, allows them to recover damages. Yesterday, we had Federica Mogherini appearing alongside the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif, having met with all the other countries involved in the deal. And now they say they're going to work towards this special mechanism, a special purpose vehicle designed to maintain trade, including in oil, by setting up, as we've heard from Cindy a bit earlier with theCUBE, payment channels so that companies can avoid paying in dollars, which would expose them to US sanctions. Also an exchange mechanism so that Iran can export oil in return for goods. So far, however, though, the EU has failed to devise a workable legal framework. Yesterday, a French bank pulled out of a plan to help firms, and the reality is that in the face of US clout, many international companies have already pulled out.